Now, we've got a very interesting situation going on with the price of nickel right now, and I want to relate it to the price of AMC stock. Because if you guys are unfamiliar with it, the London Metal Exchange has suspended, halted, stopped trading on nickel because it was squeezing higher in price. Yes, it was short squeezing higher in price, and of course, it was these rising prices are related to Russia and all of that. But we're realizing, are these markets real? Are these markets allowing buyers and sellers, or are these markets protecting large participants, large funds, the money? Is it protecting these big boys out there and allowing some, I don't know, not necessarily free action or free market from taking place? So guys, I want to relate this to AMC and what we could actually expect if AMC starts to run up in price, because this is a little weird, guys. Sounds like something you're interested in? Let's get started. What's up, everybody? I'm Clay. I'm here to make 2022 the best year ever. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Join us. Become a bro. We are here every single day, and we are growing our portfolios together. And look, if you're brand new to investing, you don't know how or where to buy stocks and crypto, you get a link in the description for Webull. Super simple to set up your account. $100 deposit. It's gonna get you 5 free stocks right now with a minimum value of $27, and then any $1 crypto trade is gonna get you $5 in free crypto as well. So make sure to check that out. And you guys got crypto exclusive exchanges if you want those. But I want to dive into this video right now because it's got me a little fired up. I'm a little mad. I really support a free market. If you want to buy something, go buy it. And I'm not talking, necessarily illegal things, right? But if you have money and you want to spend it, spend it. If you don't have money, or if you have money and you don't want to spend it, don't spend it, right? Simple as that. The choice is yours for what you do with your money. If you get into a bad situation, I don't care what that is. If you take on too much debt on your house, do you think the bank is just going to say, no, you know what, Clay, you don't have to pay back your mortgage right now. We know you're a good customer. We'll just, you know what we're going to do? We're going to stop the housing market. We're going to stop the real estate market right now so that you can get your ducks back in a row and get back on your feet. If, I don't know too much about sports. If LeBron James is playing a basketball game and all of a sudden he starts missing his shots, do you think the refs are going to call the game and say, you know what, we'll give you guys an extended period of timeout, maybe a week or two, so that you guys can start making your shots again? We know you're not feeling too well right now. We'll let you get back on. No, this stuff doesn't happen, but it happens in financial markets because they need to, they feel this need to protect money. And I have a very strong feeling this is something similar that we could see for AMC stock when it comes time. So if you guys are unfamiliar with the situation, I'll just summarize it really quick. The London Metals Exchange, they're over there trading precious metals and metals that are useful like nickel. Nickel is used for stainless steel, and it's used in these brand new electric vehicle car batteries and things like that. So the price has been rising recently because of the increase in demand for electric vehicles and all of that stuff, but it's increased exponentially for a few reasons more recently. One, we've got some very heavy short sellers out there, and two, because of Russia. Russia's an exporter. I forget what the exact percentage is, but it's a very large percentage of the global export for nickel. And of course, with everything going on in Russia and exports being sanctioned, we are not going to see the same type of supply. So therefore, the price it just goes through the roof. What happened on Tuesday was the price of nickel went from about $25,000, I believe, per metric ton, over $100,000. So all it did was quadruple in price. That's not that large of an increase. It is large for a metal. It is large for a commodity that typically doesn't fluctuate too much. But here's the problem. If you guys are into commodities trading, I don't care if it's Forex, I don't care if it's metals, whatever. Think of the commodity that you want. A lot of that trading takes place by using derivatives, futures, contracts, and so on. And a lot of that trading takes place on very high leverage or very high margin. Now, what we had here was I believe it's a Chinese institution that was heavily shorting the price of nickel, and they were up to $8 billion in margin calls that they were going to lose. Now, the London Metal Exchange halted trading on nickel. So this Chinese company is sitting on a loss of $8 billion. A paper loss. A paper loss that would have been necessary for them to claim if trading was allowed. If I was allowed to buy nickel and you were allowed to sell nickel, they would have been on the hook for that $8 billion loss. Now, because trading was halted, all of these trades were canceled as well. So this company right now, this Chinese short seller, is sitting on an $8 billion paper loss. Well, as the trading was halted, the company's allowed to go out there and receive money from bank after bank after bank to cover those losses and essentially buy that nickel back up on paper so that when trading reopens, they don't default on their positions and they're not closed out and they're not actually margin called because they met those leverage requirements. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Why does the London Metal Exchange have the authority to determine what price is reasonable for nickel? Don't you think the buyers and sellers should determine what price is reasonable for the price of anything? If somebody is willing to short it, knowing that there's a global disruption in supply, this Chinese firm was clearly willing to short a lot. I mean, it's a ridiculous percentage. If you look at the numbers here, if you read some of these articles, you can see that there's two major players that are basically rivals. One major player is buying nickel, another major player is selling nickel, and then you get a bunch of little guys just in between buying and selling nickel, probably actually trying to do business in nickel. Well, if you're willing to dig yourself in a hole, I think you should be buried in that hole. I don't think that you should have, it's just some market stop you and stop the market and stop the flow of that dirt from coming back over your head while you're sitting in the hole that you dug, which is exactly what is happening with the London the London Metal Exchange. Sorry. So here's what they're saying. This is the London Metal Exchange. People will be asking if this is really a functioning market. No kidding. I mean, it's not a functioning market when you stop it from functioning. This is meant to be a market of last resort, and people can't get inventories to deliver against positions. Then they shouldn't be buying and selling those positions. If they can't find the metal, they shouldn't be selling the metal. Do you see how this relates? Do you see how this relates to AMC? Now, I'm not an advocate for a ton of synthetic shares, but imagine the New York Stock Exchange stops AMC from being traded, and they say, this is meant to be a market of last resort. People can't get inventories to deliver against the positions. Hedge funds can't find positions to cover the shorts that they opened up. So we're going to stop trading to help them and allow them to find the positions. No. That's not how it works. If you don't have the nickel, but you are selling the nickel and somebody is buying it from you, I don't care if you can't find it. You have to go find it somewhere. And if you have to offer somebody else $100,000 a metric ton for that nickel, you have to offer somebody else $100,000 for that metric ton of nickel. If you have to offer them $1 million per metric ton of nickel, guess what you're doing? You're sleeping in the bed that you made, or whatever that saying is. You're taking care of your own problems. You don't have somebody come in and turn the water off in the middle of the flood to say, we're here to save you. We see you. You're a good customer. We're going to make sure that you get bailed out. Put this aside for a second, right? I read through it. There's a lot of stuff out there. They're trying to reopen the market and all of that nonsense. But here's how you relate it to AMC. This Chinese short seller was down $8 billion, okay? Now, I know there's 100 million short shares that are reported as outstanding on AMC. So let's say that they lose an extra $8 billion on AMC. If they're willing to shut down an entire trade or an entire market to save an $8 billion Chinese firm, then let's assume that AMC was being traded and being shorted at the maximum of $70 per share, and these hedge funds were in nothing but profit right now. If AMC rose $80 from their short positions, they would be down $8 billion. The shorts on the reported short shares would be down $8 billion. That only gives you a price of $150. Now, what do you think How do you think market participants are going to act and going to react if the New York Stock Exchange or the SEC or some nonsensical or regulatory division came out and said, you know what? We're going to suspend trading right now because it's very evident that AMC is not trading at a price that it should be trading at. We're going to cancel all trades because we can't have hedge funds on the hook for an $8 billion loss. We're going to make sure that this market opens back up and it's fair, but it opens back up at a lower price so the big money doesn't lose. Now, that is not a free market like the London Metal Exchange is claiming. That would not be a free market. Guys, I get fired up when this stuff like this happens. I'm sorry, but I do not think that is a good idea to protect businesses. Like I say, and it might sound harsh, if they dig that, and even if it's you, even if it's you as an individual retail short seller, I don't care. If you dig yourself into a hole and you can't climb out and the dirt starts pouring back in, unfortunately, you dug that hole yourself, and it's time for that fund, that institution, that Chinese short seller to get buried in the hole that they dug, not to have the market stop and bail them out. I want to know what you guys think, though, because I see it playing out. It could play out in an absolutely similar fashion here in the United States if the losses get too big for the big money, because, we got to have the big money back in because they're the ones that keep us going. They're the ones that pay for all of these politicians. You guys let us know in the comments below what you guys think. If this button right here is still red, make sure to click it, subscribe to the channel, join us, become a bro. We are here every single day, and we are growing our portfolios together. ClayBro83 on Twitter and Instagram. We will buy and ship at crypto.com in the description below. And until the next time, hope that each and every one of you have an awesome day.